Kia ora, this is Tika Cross. You know you're in the Cook Islands when you're listening to Matariki FM.
Tēngi roto te atanga ko te PittBull e the Don no tā rāwa tuanga Tuatua Tika e te nawe I roto I te popongi o. At this time, folks, the PittBull and the Don for some straight talking this morning. Kia ora, good morning to you, George.
Yes,
hello.
Good morning.
Hello, come in.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
How are you today?
Oh, excited. Big fight night coming up.
Big fight night.
Oh, yes.
Who are you fighting?
I did see Wilkie Rasmus. I want to fight you in the ring. I challenged him to a fight for a charity.
Yeah.
Or anybody else. David James, Henry Puna. Yep.
Okay.
I'll take them all on one night.
Okay.
But I don't want to take up the whole show. I don't want the whole thing about George Pitt fighting all these politicians and these wannabes and I said let's settle all our issues in the ring, Wilkie.
Yeah.
And I don't think he took me serious. I said, look, we'll do this for charity.
Okay.
Yeah. But fight night, it's gonna be a great night. You see there the Cook Island News talking about Mark Hunt.
Mark, yeah.
And they says he's a New Zealand-born son. He's not. He's a Cook Islander.
Is he?
Mark Hunt's a Cook Islander. Okay. I don't know how come he got labelled as a Samoan. He's a Cook Islander. I'm telling you.
Has he got any Samoan blood on him?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe a little bit, but his blood is Cook Island. And people should get out there, welcome. He's a hero in the world of fighting, cage fighting. And
extreme boxing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's a champion, mate. And he's a Cook Islander.
Yeah.
So I just want to correct this fake news story that he's a Samoan. Again, the Cook Island News making fake stories and false news. Mark Hunt is a Cook Islander.
Okay.
So let's get out there and let's greet him and welcome to our country.
Yeah. Right, you're going to go along to the fight night?
Well, I've got my ticket. I've got $100.
Oh, you got your ticket, okay.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait. I wanted to get in the ring.
How can a pensioner afford $100 ticket?
Oh, well. I stole the money from television. Gene doesn't know about that. I just went out and grabbed some money. Okay. I want to go to the fight.
Right. Okay. All right, let's have a look at an interesting point that the Minister of Finance raised yesterday.
We finished talking about fighting? I issued a challenge.
Did you?
Wilkie, all those people that don't like me, come down there on Saturday night and we'll get in the ring and we'll have a fight for charity. And
you're starting to sound like Paul Rawsworth.
And I'm prepared to put up $3,000.
Yeah.
I don't know where to get the money from.
But you've got a few days to do.
A few days to get the money, yes.
Okay. All right.
And the big news, William, the big news was on Friday night we're going to have some, the Cook Islands Party in Ngatingia is going to hold a selection for candidates meeting.
So what?
Well, my name could be in the hat.
Could be.
Could be.
Just have to wait and see.
It's a very serious consideration.
Okay.
Yes.
Who's seriously considering that? Is it the Cook Islands Party or yourself?
Myself.
Oh, yourself. Okay.
Yes. I don't know where to put my hand up to join the corrupt party of the Cook Island Party or not.
Oh, so is that
but
how it is?
They seem to be the get in the waka.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get my nose in the trough and then have a few corrupt lollies for myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Serious stuff.
So if you can't beat them, you join them. Is that how it is?
Well, how you going to get your face into the trough, the taxpayer's trough, and gobble up as much as you can. All joking aside, I have been approached.
You have been approached?
Oh, yes.
Gee.
They're not satisfied with the two women. They want to have more people put their name in the hat.
Oh, maybe it might be
so
just to make it look good. So they've
been jiggering and reconfiguring the process, and so it's been a serious consideration. It's something that I've been thinking serious about.
Okay. Yeah. Oh well.
Demos don't want me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want me either. Okay. Now let's get back to you. Something a little bit more serious.
They've got posters. In the old days they put up posters that says "wanted," "reward."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they got my photo up and it says "unwanted."
Hey, George, we're going to run out of time.
Okay, what are we making around for?
Okay, yeah,
welcome all our listeners. Good morning. It's a nice brisk morning.
Yeah, it's crispy. Okay, I want you to have a listen to this. All right, it's only about a minute long. Okay, let's have a listen to this. The application to seize Taina Bishop's assets. Why is this happening?
Well, I'm not too sure. I'm not kept up to speed on this, but from what I understand, the Solicitor General is duty bound to try and recover what is the Crown's money.
But didn't he have that opportunity at the trial?
No, the trial was to prove the point that the activities that Taina undertook in selling those licenses and obtaining financial gain, that was criminal act. And that's what the trial was about. The recovery of finances as a result of this criminal activity that falls under the Proceeds of Crimes Act. So in this regard, the Solicitor General, as an officer of the court, from what I understand, is duty bound to try and pursue and recover those proceeds. I mean, it's like if somebody robs a bank, they get caught, they get sent to jail. But they don't get to keep that money. They've got to pay it back.
Yeah. Well, who's stolen money here?
Well, this is found guilty of selling licenses to Chinese companies and received $250,000 for it.
Why isn't the government going after the Chinese?
Well, those Chinese companies no longer fish in our waters.
Don't they?
No.
But they still have an office here, don't they?
No. Not that I'm aware of. There's no fishing company with an office here.
Well, I think that sounds like it's something that's beyond a furphy.
Yes, it's blatant lying. Mark Brown just hasn't got a grasp of the facts. For once, he says it's the Proceeds of Crimes Act. It's not. It's the Proceeds of Crime Act. Singular. I wrote about this not long after Taina had been sentenced, that they were going to do this. And that was denied by everybody. Say no. He was initially sentenced to 2 years and 4 months. On appeal, that was reduced to 6 months. And that shows you, when 3 appeal judges put their heads together, that the severity that this was made out to be was minimal. In actual fact, they gave him serious considerations of his term in jail. Visiting hours, visiting privileges that no other prisoner has ever been granted. And they tried as hard as they could to soften this trumped-up nonsense. There was no public money involved in any of this.
Well, the Minister regards he says that it became a loan in the end, but initially it was public money.
It was never public money. Taina Bishop didn't steal any public money. This is just a vindictive pursuit of it's just horrible. Anyway, Mark Brown has got it wrong, and he's lied. The fishing company has got a locally registered office here with the BTIB. I know that. Their licenses after Taina was stood down as Minister of Marine have increased. They've given these people more license. If they were consistent, all these licenses should have been cancelled, and the Chinese company should have been brought to trial. Let the people know about it, Tucker. There was no public money. There's no. He says the people's money. Taina did not get the loan. He was given the loan on a commercial basis, and he's paying the loan back.
It's almost paid off.
It's almost paid off. So where did the public lose any money?
Right.
They gained money from the license that were issued when he was the Minister of Marine. That was his job, is to vet companies and issue licenses. I'm privy to a lot of the facts because I was at BTIB, and this involved the Chinese, the process. Everything was done above board. How on earth they managed to convince a judge that Taina Bishop had done something illegal is beyond me. And I wrote about it. And what did I do? He tried to charge me with a contempt of court.
Well, before we go down that road, George, there's another aspect to the the revelation yesterday from the Minister of Finance, and that is the statement that the Chinese are no longer fishing in our waters.
Well, that's a lie. They are still fishing here, William.
Yeah, well,
and the people of Cook Islands, those Chinese have had their licenses increased under Henry Puna. And what were they tickled with? You see, these Chinese went to the aid of Manihiki at one time because Manihiki had run out of diesel and the risk of just the power going off. The Chinese boats were diverted that were in the area. They went there and gave something like 22,000 litres of fuel, free. So, you know, Henry Puna's in their pocket. I've seen the letters that were written to the Chinese by the mayor thanking them because there was no charge. You see, so Henry Puna's in their pocket. And so for him to say the law, this is an absolute abomination and the abuse of political power. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, it's a deliberate deception on behalf of the minister yesterday to make that statement in regards the Chinese no longer fishing in our waters, because I went and saw Ben Pōnia yesterday and outlined to him the line of my discussion with the Minister of Finance yesterday. And this is what Ben said. No, that's not true. The Chinese are still fishing here, and the minister knows that. And there is a local company registered here. I think it's called Hawaiian Cook Islands Fisheries. Yeah. So yesterday the Secretary of Marine Resources confirmed, no, Chinese are still here. What do you think should happen?
Well, Mark Brown has committed a very serious crime in his blatant lying, and he should be impeached. The Solicitor General should take action as he is duty-bound, they say. And Mark Brown should have charges brought against him for impeachment, deliberately lying and misleading the public, the people of the Cook Islands, to cover up their corruption. Well, so, William, he should stop telling lies because, you know, he's been consistent in lying. He's been consistently caught out. He should be charged. This is a serious matter. Politicians who tell lies, they are committing a serious crime. And I want our listeners to know that. This is criminal. Mark Brown should be hauled before the Solicitor General, explaining to him, you are going to be charged with impeachment. You're going to be impeached. You're going to be charged with a serious offence. It's all there. And make no mistake about it, they won't do anything because they're too busy pursuing media practitioners like Tony Haka-Oro for having an opinion about the Solicitor General being dismissed. And I think that's where, if we can divert, I want to just talk about that.
Okay.
But Mark Brown is a blatant liar. All right? There's no doubt about it. The Chinese are still fishing here. Henry Puna is in debt to the Chinese because they've done him so many favours. They took his wife and the mayor of Aitutaki on a big freebie trip to China. He's well in their pocket, the Chinese. You know, have got him in his pocket. How could he dismiss their licenses, you know, after they delivered 22,000 litres of fuel to Manihiki because they were running out of fuel? They were diverted there, and it was all given for free. So what did they get in return? They got extra licenses. The Solicitor General should go back and investigate that, all right? And he should be charged with accepting a bribe, the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, his wife had a freebie trip. The Manikin, certain Manikin people had a freebie trip to China. All the trimmings added on. You know, 22,000 litres. That is a fact. That there is proof of that. It's all in writing. They thank the Chinese. I've seen copies of the letter.
You said it, yeah. You did say that earlier.
So, Mark Brown, stop telling lies. You know, you're in the pocket. The Chinese have got you in their pocket because it's all linked to the aid. It's all linked to what China is doing here. It's virtually an open door to the Chinese, and that doesn't come for nothing. You know, and did not they put up $30,000 in the last campaign for the corrupt Island Party? What about that being investigated? What did the Chinese get for that? The $30,000. It was disguised as an add-on to a subcontract given to a certain member of the cabinet. Let me go back to Tony Hakora if I can. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so stirred up about it. Because this is really, really corruption at its purest form. Okay. You know, this is an art. They made corruption a work of art. You know, and they're proud of it. You know, and Mark Brown, you have to stop lying. You are committing a crime of the Broadcasting Act. Lying over the broadcasting.
Well, I think a little bit more serious than that.
Yes, I mean, that's just one.
Yeah.
There's the multitudes of charges that he should be facing. And Solicitor General, do your job. You're just being so grubby. You know, you're just kissing the asses of the politicians. Do your job and have Mark Brown charged. Go and issue a search warrant to get a recording of that, because that is a fact. That he has lied. He's tried to mislead the people.
Let's have a look at
He is in a position of power and authority in this country, and he is misleading the country.
Well, what I wanted to get in there, George, was the aspect of the Member of Parliament, Mark Brown, when he took the allegiance of oath, when he became a sworn Member of Parliament, he had a duty to perform in the most honourable way, and this is the Queen's Oath, and he's heading as part of that Executive Council with the head of state. This is a real big, dirty, let's say, underpants that's been thrown out into the public arena yesterday.
Yeah, and the shameful thing about this all is, where is the opposition? Where's the leader of the Democratic Party that should be coming out and saying something? Where are they? She won't say anything because she's a lawyer. Just like David James. They must have some sort of secret agreement. They must have some Masonic lodge oath that they take that, you know, they're like doctors. They don't chase after each other.
Are the Freemasons here?
Pardon?
Are there Freemasons here?
Oh, there are members of it. I mean, it's obvious. Lawyers are all part and parcel of that.
Okay.
You know, people of influence. But anyway, you know,
So
the police have advised Tony Hakora that they have ceased the investigation on the complaint laid by this grubby. He's very grubby. Solicitor General. You know, he pursues matters of insignificance, wasting public's money, wasting public's time, you know, just wasting resources, chasing ants. When there's big fish in the ocean there that he should be clobbering, but he hasn't got the testicle fortitude to do anything about it.
Right.
And nor has the Prime Minister. He should call him in and say, look, what on earth are you doing? In actual fact, I urge the Prime Minister to sack or suspend the Solicitor General, David James, from his duties and investigate his procedures and his priorities and what he's doing. He should be, the Public Service Commissioner should get in on this, and he should be suspended. Because what he's doing is abhorrent, and it is disgusting, and it is inexcusable. He should be dismissed. And the Prime Minister's got to stop having this Pontius Pilate facade and say, oh, it's the law. Mark Brown said he's duty-bound. What about all the duty-bound things Mark Brown and the Henry Puna should be doing? What about their duty to the people? It's not in their duty to lie to the people. It's not their duty to harass innocent people who question their disgusting, disgraceful acts of the abuse of power.
Okay, so there you are. You're putting a challenge out to the Prime Minister to terminate the the contract of the Solicitor General.
Absolutely, William. Absolutely.
And
I am amazed at the speed in which the police act on complaints from the Solicitor General. It happened to me personally. It's happened to William. I laid a complaint with full evidence of corruption over the land payments in Manihiki by the Prime Minister and Mark Brown.
Right.
It took them 16 months to give me a reply of insufficient evidence and that there was an obligation to pay these people. But not under those circumstances, William.
Right.
I was given the bum's rush by the investigation because they were under instructions from the powers higher. The harassment of Taina Bishop is such an abhorrent case of victimization. He's been victimized in the most inhuman way. This is disgusting and it's putrid. This is a vendetta of scorched earth against the Bishop family by Henry Puna and Mark Brown, and they're being aided by the Solicitor General. This is absolutely, William, inexcusable. And where on earth is the leader, Tina Brown, of the opposition? Why aren't anybody in the Democratic Party jumping up and down and making a noise?
Well, firstly, Tina's not the leader of the opposition.
Well, I'm saying, okay, the Democratic Party then. All right?
So
they've got no idea. They're parasites. They've got no idea of how hard it takes to make a business work in the outer islands. I used to have a couple of businesses in Aitutaki, and it's hard going, William. These guys, Mark Brown couldn't even make a blooming fish and chip shop work here. You know, he exploited his Filipino worker so badly that his Filipino worker couldn't wait for his term to be, to be fulfilled. He hopped on a plane and took off, never to return. And I tell you what, William, he left a lot of stories that never got the oxygen that they deserved. And one day those stories may just come out because those stories are there in the vault. You see? So,
George, you've issued a challenge on the Prime Minister for the Solicitor General. In regards the Minister Mark Brown, what do you think should happen?
I think I said the Solicitor General should be duty bound.
Well, if we don't have a Solicitor General,
he should do that.
Before he gets terminated.
Highly unlikely to sack him.
Yeah.
Because he's a tool for their victimisation.
Should the Prime Minister terminate Mark Brown as well?
He should be stood down because he's deliberately lied to the public. You know.
Okay,
but this is not the first time, William.
Okay, now I just want to be clear on that from your point of view. Now, in terms of coming back to the Solicitor General and the police department in regards to the priorities and doing, I guess, the complaints or investigating the complaints. There is still one major one that's outstanding, and that came from the electoral petition courts. The former chief judge of the Cook Islands Western notified the police on that in regards the Mona Ioane petition case, found guilty of corruption there. What's the latest? What do you know in regards that process of the complaint being dealt with?
David James has had the police report for over 6 months. The report recommends that Mona Ioane be prosecuted. But because he's been impeded by his boss, that has been put on the slow burner. That should have been done 6 months ago. And I urge the Solicitor General to do his job as he is duty bound, as according to Mark Brown, and set a date for Mona Ioane's trial. Or is he so incompetent that he can only chase around the little small chickens like myself and William Hakaoro?
Tony.
Oh, sorry, Tony, because William's his brother, I think.
Yeah.
Because, he's just wasting resources. Prime Minister, I urge you today, Prime Minister, I urge you on behalf of every Cook Islander to stop this cruel act of political persecution against Taina Bishop. You persecuted in a very cruel way the elderly people of this country. You have a cruel, nasty streak within you, Prime Minister, and it is showing every Cook Islander how abusive of the power that you have, being the privilege and given by privilege by the people of the Cook Islands. Dismiss the Solicitor General immediately and stop lying to the people. You know, Prime Minister, you want us to obey the law, but you don't obey it yourself. There are multitudes of issues and possible charges that you face, but you have escaped those by getting rid of the head of FIU, Bob Williams. You put him out to pasture because he was getting too close to a prosecution. Bob Williams has given his report to the police, and again, what are they doing with that report? The recommendation that the Crown Law has is that prosecution of Mona. But what does the Prime Minister do? He upholds this person who is under investigation, and he gives him travelling opportunities to represent the country. He puts him as chairman of this committee and chairman of that. This is so disrespectful of the process of law. Monione should himself step down and wait the outcome of the investigation, as Taina Bishop honourably did. You know, they call themselves honourable minister. Stop saying that. They're not honourable. None of them are honourable. Even those in the opposition, the Democratic Party, calling themselves honourable. If they were honourable, they would be sticking up for the rights of a Cook Island person who's been abused by a foreigner at the instruction and the support of Henry Puna and Mark Brown. You know, they have corrupted the abuses of the law in this country. What about their Teriki Heather and all his conflicts of interest with contracts? And I urge the Prime Minister to give the ICI portfolio to another person who does not have a business involved in contracts through ICI. Show us some fortitude. Show us some respect. Stop insulting our intelligence over turning a blind eye to the conflicts of interest by your deputy, Teriki Heather. Give that ministry, ICI, to someone who's not involved in a contracting business that involves ICI. You know, they talk about the law. I don't know how Mark Brown can go to church this Sunday and sit in the pew and hold his head up. He should have his head bowed in shame, and he should ask the people forgiveness. You see, there is a law higher than this nonsense law that these people are talking about. It's the law of Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Jesus said, love one another. Where is the Christianity in these people who are vindictive? Where is the forgiveness? Where is the love of Jesus Christ? They say they're Christians. There's a law higher than any constitution, and it starts with the 10 Commandments. You know, if you love God, you'll love others. You'll treat them in a good way. They are trying to crush Taina Bishop and his family. They are being so abusive. Well, I think it's one day they will reap what they sow. Right. And I want to say to every Arataki, don't ever vote for the Henry Puna government. Show your displeasure. Show your integrity. Show your Christian love to someone that has been downtrodden on. Where is the love of Christ in these people to restore someone to their position? He has served his time. His time was reduced from 2 years and 4 months to 6 months because I suppose the 3 judges couldn't go against one of their own. So they had to say, well, this is what we think. You know, you people have, blown this all out of proportion. And I am very sympathetic to the Taina Bishop's family. He's done his time. He gets out next week. And I believe you'll see the biggest crowd at the airport you've ever seen to welcome anybody. And he should be restored to his position before, because he served his time, which was just a scumbag, trumped up nonsense. We all know that. And the Solicitor General was trying to have me charged for contempt of court. And the Cook Island News should get their facts right, all right? I was never charged. I never paid a fine, all right? Well, there was a settlement. There was a settlement on the advice of my lawyer. I wanted a full trial by jury to defend myself, but it was such a trivial matter, it had to be dealt that way. There is a law that Mark Brown, I don't know how come they can go to church and pretend to worship Jesus Christ when they themselves are grubby and full of vindication and vendettas, trying to, just eradicate off the face of the earth the existence of Taina Bishop and his family. This is disgusting. It's deplorable. It is just an absolute act of cruelty by Pontius Pilate, Henry Puna. I urge them, follow the Bible. Henry Puna should know the law. He's a Seventh-day Adventist. All right? Now, if he doesn't know the New Testament and the love of Christ and the law of Christ, to love one another, to lift one another up, all right? There's no foreign entities here except the expats that bully or are used by government to bully our people. Every position held by an expat should be given to an Indigenous Cook Islander. All right? I'm not being racist, because otherwise this country will be overrun by a minority of people that are holding us to ransom. And let me say this, Prime Minister, you are disgusting, you are cruel, you should take this matter, call a snap election, and see whether you will win a snap election even on the case of your prosecution and persecution of Taina Bishop. Make that an issue. And if you win, then you know the people are on your side. But I doubt it. You are just being grubby. You are being dishonest. Mark Brown, you are telling too many lies. You should be charged. And today, David James, I'm hoping you'll listen to this, and you should go to the police and charge Mark Brown. He should be impeached for misleading, for being dishonourable, and for lying and breaking the laws of the Communications Act and the Broadcasting Act. Act immediately, you are duty bound, or else put in your resignation and leave this country immediately. We don't need people like you sucking up to the politicians, kissing their bum because you want to be here.
George, thank you very much for your straight talking this morning.
I haven't finished.
Well, we'll have to carry on next week.
Oh.
Okay. So say goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
All right. You have a great day.
Kia ora, this is Tika. You know you're in the Cook Islands when you're listening to Matariki FM.